I recently-ish made the first ever Netherrack farm. Because it was the first ever Netherrack farm, it wasn't very efficient. In this video, I'll be going over a bunch of the issues with the previous Netherrack farm I made, and I'll be fixing them. Most of those problems were there because when I made that farm, I mostly cared that it would actually work instead of it being efficient. So this is the machine I made last time to farm Netherrack, and I have a few issues with it. Number one, all this water just coming out. This just feels very messy. There's a lot of not very compacted redstone. The skulk sensor way out here. Thing number two, this water stream. The player takes like 5 seconds to get to the portal. That 5 seconds is spent doing nothing when it could be spent going through portals, getting more netherrack. Another problem I have with this machine is this nether setup. Like, what on earth? Alignment system? Pushing slime blocks? 8 seconds every time you want to go through a portal. It's inefficient. It's big. This bad. Now I'll be showing you the design process on how I made the new farm. To start off the farm, I first removed all portal spawn spots in the area. Okay, now I need to figure out where the portal is, and I need to clear out all the caves below so the portal doesn't spawn in the caves. We end up in a cave, destroy portal, fill it up with some water. Now I'm going to go through again to see if there's any more caves that need to be watered. There we go. Looks like already we got the portal to spawn up here. The next thing I did was the nether side portal alignment system. I had to do a bit of setup in the overworld first. To make the game do some weird portal stuff, I'm going to add a portal right here. I'm going to quickly interrupt past me, because I did not account for the fact that some people will look at this and go, what on earth is going on over here? To get a slice portal like this, all you need is some powdered snow, a dispenser, and a nether portal. If you light a portal and then activate a dispenser so it dispenses powdered snow into the portal, on one side of the powdered snow there will be a line of portals going all the way up to the obsidian. Because of how Minecraft Bedrock Edition treats portals, this slice portal has some pretty janky physics. For example, if I light this portal and I go into this portal over here, because this portal is 18 blocks-ish away from the regular portal, I should spawn 18 blocks in the same direction in the nether. Looking at the coordinates, that should mean negative 18 blocks in the Z direction. And you can now see, what? Okay, that's not the negative Z direction. So this is how I was thinking of getting the player outside of the nether side portal, instead of breaking the portal and then relighting it. Theoretically, this should spawn me north of the portal in the nether. Yep, as you can see here, I was spawned north of this portal. Okay, now I have a slice on the exact coordinate of 100, 100. And then build a portal here. What this should theoretically do is spawn the player right here, immediately go into a new portal. This is with the minimal amount of redstone, because there is none, and that means more efficient. I then realized my portal system would stop the portal from spawning, because it contains a portal. I can't have this portal here. Break this portal, go through, what happens? Does it maintain the go to the north? Wait, now it just drops right in front of the portal. Now, it immediately sends me back through. And if we just block off all these spawning spots, then this area should be the default portal spawning area. That is precisely where the portal spawns. I moved the portal up a few blocks so the client would spend enough time outside the portal. Now let's see if I go through. Yep, that's enough time. And that is the new location. Now I need to make a wither cage underneath this obsidian. wither should be right here. This should be the spot to spawn the wither. Yep, there we go. Now we need to make a pattern to stop portals from spawning on top of this bedrock thing. Yep, that should be good. There are 2 blocks over here that are chilling on the side. To get rid of those, we can just piston them in. Now we need the most efficient way to get the player out of the portal. These blocks are going to get pushed by pistons, so we will have to move the player out there. So how do we move the player? And how do we collect the items? I'm thinking either snowballing the player out, using slime blocks to launch the player out. I think both would be quite efficient. I've now created an on-max snowball dispenser. Once a snow golem gets tossed in there we go. Now it's working. Next question. How are we going to get the items out of the bedrock? I came up with an extremely goofy idea of launching hopper minecarts across the bedrock surface. Yeah, it was a stupid idea. And that's when it hit me. A laze. We would just need to get the laze to toss the items to a note block and not the player. So there's going to be some redstone over here. That's where the portal out is going to be. That means we can make a thing on this side. I've successfully made an Allay Netherrack gathering system because I felt like water would be extremely inconvenient. So Allay, simplest solution. Hopefully the Allays don't wander away. Actually, I think I can lead the Allays. So far, we have a gathering system, an automatic player pusher, a netherrack pusher, and the basic wither cage without the snowball launcher. Next thing I'll be working on is the portal to send the player back to the nether. Down a block to stop the Allay from going in there by accident. Now I think this should work, in theory, to get the player into the nether again. I then worked on the snowball launcher for the wither. Okay, we have pretty much everything here. I just need some way for this to activate when the player goes through. I had an idea for an observer to activate the player pusher and wither cage. Like that. It's going to activate itself in a loop. There. Once the portal spawns in, it sends 2 snowball pulses. I just don't know if that's enough to consistently get the player off this platform. It wasn't. I could do a comparator decay clock here. Comparator decay clock, once portal spawns in, it repeatedly activates 15-ish times. First test. Yeah, it wasn't long enough. I then decided to make a system that would detect when I end up in the portal, so the snowball pusher would stop. Okay, yeah, this thing does work. And there you go, I replaced a lot of the blocks with concrete to make it a little bit cheaper instead of using obsidian. There we go, got a full beacon and portal proofed it. The beacon is to regenerate any health that is lost from starving or random fall damage. This beacon almost looks bigger than the farm. That's what happens when you do efficiency stuff. I proceeded to do some tests on both farms, and I found that the farm I just barely did does 1 cycle every 22 seconds, which results in around 21 items per minute, and thus 20.5 stacks per hour, compared to the old farm, which does 1 cycle every 35 seconds, which is 14 items per minute, or 13 stacks of items per hour. That means this new farm is 1.6 times faster than the old farm, and it's also a lot smaller. I would call that a success.